Hello everyone, this is Cutie Affirmations here, and I'm here to do my first live with reading the book sessions. I know I had a couple subscribers here that actually enjoyed my reading. They did not judge, and that's what my channel is about. So I'm gonna start reading this book. This is for children. Plus, I got this set on only adults, but y'all guys or your parents could share this video with whoever you want. Anybody that's even having a hard day, living in the hospital, chemo, kids, whoever it is, y'all guys could pass it on. I do not force nobody to do what they want to do. So the book here, which is the name of the title, is called The Ring of Truth. It's an original Irish tale, an Irish tale by Teresa Bellman. And that's how the books look like. And then in the back, it says, this is well-crafted tale told with a storyteller touch. The language flows and the story satisfies. It's a school library journal. So that's how the back looks like. Now real quick, on the heads up, I'm not Irish, but some Irish is very beautiful. All right, so when you open the book here, that's how that will look like for the first page. And then when you flip it over, to my mother and father who taught me the importance of truth and the entertainment via Barney TB. To my Irish in-laws who should know all person debated in books are fictions. Any resemblance to actual person is pure consensual or. And that's when, they're talking about the text copyrights, the print, the library, the name of the book, the summary, then there's the hardcover, fairy tale, and all that stuff on there. All right, so let's go ahead and get to it. Patrick O'Kelly was peddler of scarves and trinkets with a habit of telling magnificent lies. We traveled from village to village, and a pack on his book and a wild story on his lips, and never telling the truth when a lie would do. Indeed, and folks said he must have kissed the Barnley stone and caught a bit of it in his teeth. And for the legend had it that all those who kissed the stone in Bartley Castle in near Cork would be skilled in flattery. Patrick was proud and cocky about his stories, but his loose tongue proved his undoing. Isn't these pictures amazing? They look really cute. One day he heard there was going to be a Barnley contest in the county of Donegal. The prize was a pot of gold. Naturally, Patrick thought he was the most likely to win the contest. Why, he said, I could spout better Barnley than the king of the leprechauns himself. As you might expect, and a Wordle Patrick prideful boost made it way under the mountain to the home of the leprechaun kings. Leprechaun considered Barnley an art form and themselves as best artists. When the king heard the Patrick bold statement, and his eyes flashed green lightning. You have some really pretty art drawing on this book. That Patrick O'Kelly, the king told his followers, he fair puffed up with Barnley, and thinking he's as good as any one of us, and it's time he was taught a lesson. That night, Patrick O'Kelly lay down to sleep under his oak tree, but when he awoke, he was someplace else. He was in a huge room with a ceiling that stretched out of sight, and the walls that were lined with gold and silver. Trees grew there, and with leaves of diamonds and amulets. He heard a clinking sound and sat up. He looked around and saw the ground was covered with gold coins. Ooh, gold coins. That's the luck of the Irish, maybe. Patrick rubbed his eyes and thinking he was still asleep. But when he opened them again, and they caught the sparkle of silver coins among the gold, and the jewels as well, he started to slip some of the riches into his pockets when a trumpet sounded. Looking up, he saw the king of the leprechaun on a golden throne, being carried in by your 4 tiny ponies, no larger than dogs. Patrick O'Kelly declared the king, "Welcome! I wanted to meet the man with such a fine reputation for Barnley. It's a great pleasure." The king sprang from his throne and bowed. Patrick arose and gave a bow back, but he kept his eyes on the leprechaun king. "What is it that you want of me?" Patrick asked nervously. "Why, nothing at all," replied the king. "Indeed, it's Jay who will be giving something to you." To your left, a Patrick O'Kelly, you find a ring. It's yours as a reward for the way in which you spread your barley over all the island. Patrick looked and saw a gold ring with a single emerge. Square cut glowing, a worthy ring for the worthy man, he thought, placing it on his little finger. Where is it fit as if it had been made for him? And look, here's a little bit of the frame where I read at. And here's the picture. And the name of the story, Lily, is The Ring of the Truth. This is a Irish story. "What have I done to earn such a reward?" Patrick asked. "Do you think you're the only one who can talk Blarney?" laughed the leprechaun. "That's no reward, but a punishment for your pride. You never take that ring off again and force the ring of the truth. The man who wears it can tell nothing but the plain truth for the rest of his days. Now, let's see how well you could get on in life without your pack of lies." Yep, there goes the ring right there. Isn't it beautiful? I love rings. There was a flash of light, And when Patrick O'Kelly opened his eyes, and he was laying beneath an oak tree again. So twice a dream, after all, he mumbled and turned over for a bit more sleep. But something hard was I'm messing that up, pressuring against his cheek. Sorry. He looked down, and there on his hand was a gold ring with a square emerald. So there goes the birds. And he's under the tree again. Patrick sat up. He started to say, "It didn't happen. It wasn't real." But what came out was, "It did happen. It is real. The absolute truth and only thing." He tried to pull off the ring, but he might as well have tried to remove his own finger. It was stuck there. Just as Keena the leprechaun had said, neither soap nor struggle could remove it. And the Patrick had the sinking feeling that his life was going to change, and not for the better. Indeed, he was right. And because from then on, everywhere he went, in peddling his goods, and he told only the truth. No longer could he lie to the ladies about how beautiful they looked in his kerchiefs and bungles. If they looked ridiculous, and well, he had to tell them so. This was not good for business. Worse, and people who had suffered his peddling for the chance to hear his blarney were now sore disappointed, and he was run out of the first one village and then another. So it was that he found himself on the road to Dongale, where his reputation was still sound. He knew the blarney contest was completely out of the question, but thought of the crowds who would attend. Surely he could get some of them to buy his wares, and if only he could keep his tongue still. When Patrick entered, the town streets were silent, and for all had gathered at the main hall to hear the liars' contest. Curious, he decided to sneak into the back of the room, and he heard the competition he will have faced before his encounter with the Leprechaun King. But the first person who saw him, and not having heard of his recent misfortune, and sent up a cry, "Here's Patrick O'Kelly. He's sure to win." Before he could say a word, and he was being hustled to the stage, and soon found himself in a line for the contest, unable to slip away. As the day wore on, stories grew wilder and more fantastic. Potatoes as big as mountains, changelings, magic harps, and enchanted castles. Poor Patrick O'Kelly, when the time came for him to speak, and he knew he would be disgraced, he stepped forward and having no choice and told the plain truth. "I'm sorry," he said. "I cannot enter this contest. You see, and I grew so good at Blarney that the king of the leprechauns himself was angry with me and took me to his kingdom beneath the earth, and where gold and silver walls rise up forever, and the trees bear diamonds and the amulets. Why, and the very ground itself is covered with riches, gold, silver coins, and sparkling jewelries." There was a hushed silence. There's the king of the leprechaun himself came to me and carried on a gold throne by 4 tiny horses and no taller than my knees. He got down and he bowed to me. Patrick O'Kelly, indeed. I should have been suspicious even then. He told me he was going to reward me for the fine quality of my Blarney. A snort of disbelief interrupted him. "Hey, I could see you doubt my word. How I wish I doubt his. And for he gave me a fine gold ring with the emerge only after I placed it on my finger. Did he tell me of the ring curse? It's the ring of truth," he said. "The man who wears that ring can tell nothing but the plain truth for the rest of his days." This is actually interesting with that ring. So I read all this. That's kind of on one page. You know, that will be amazing for the whole world to wear this ring and tell nothing but the truth. Be very interesting. And so it's been since that day, and Patrick O'Kelly continues sadly. "I cannot compete in this Barnley contest, for here on my finger is the ring of the truth, and I cannot get off, and no matter how I try." There was a long silence. Then the room burst into laughter. "That's the biggest pack of barley and I ever heard," declared the judge. So Patrick O'Kelly won the pot of gold. He protests every truthful in that it wasn't Barnley at all, but nobody believed him. So what could he do but accept his good fortune? He had to learn a lesson, and however, with half the gold he bought a plot of land and a wee cottage, and settled down free of down free of want for the rest of his days. The other half he laid at the foot of the oak tree as an apology to the leprechaun king. Guy right there. And that is a beautiful picture. I would love to have a house like that with nobody around. Perhaps the king accepted his apology, and for Patrick was often invited back to visit the leprechauns. He wore the emerald ring all his life, but never lacked for the tales of the fair folk. Or perhaps the leprechaun king was still playing a joke. For and though Patrick often told tales of the time he spent in that magical kingdom beneath the ground, and nobody ever believed him. And that is it of this book. This was actually an interesting book. I think a children or an adult will actually enjoy this book either way. Doesn't matter on the age. So I hope y'all really did enjoy this reading session of mine. I know it took a little bit longer on here, but this is my first live, and I'm very happy to get my first live going, and I will probably continue doing more lives. It was definitely saved me a lot of space. But anyways, I hope y'all guys love the Ring of the Truth. So, and I also hope y'all guys enjoyed this reading session today. And hopefully it will help you through your day, relax you, pass it on to who you like. But anyways, I hope y'all guys enjoyed this video. So always stay brave is your affirmation at the end of this video. So I hope y'all guys like this video. Give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below so y'all guys be notified. Other than that, y'all guys take care and cherish your day. And God bless.